ongoing project to present you the basis for the possible new initiatives that also are fed by the strategical approaches that we could hear from the previous speakers. So, environmental domain, spatial data infrastructures, cross-border cooperation, and economical drivers. So the project is financed by the GSDI as a small grant awarded project, and it focuses on non-governmental organizations as the SDI beneficiaries. The target group we are focusing on are the environmental NGOs, and the main goal we are striving to is to make a comprehensive research and to foster the knowledge transfer in this area. So the mission from the project comes for these three main pillars. What is the structure of the project? There are three partners coming from the three areas. So there's the SDI expert, that's the AGC, Association for Geospatial Information in Southeast Europe, Center for Environmental Democracy, that is our best practice case example representative, Environmental Democracy NGO from Macedonia, and the Center for Knowledge Transfer, CECTRA, coming from Slovenia, that is expert in the field of knowledge transfer, of course. So just briefly to go through the project, the project members. You will see more information in the abstracts, or after you can take the brochures that will be available. Of course, more information is on the website. So the agency ought to bring out the expertise from the SDI domain. I will go faster through this. The Florozon are the experts in the environmental democracy domain, especially for the promotion of the citizens' access rights, so access to information. And it's important to notice that the domain they represent is non-spatially enabled. So their primary field of activities is not the spatial one, and this is the good driver for this market to be spatially enabled. And the knowledge transfer that is needed in this process is provided by the third partner. Okay, so this NGO sector we are mentioning so much is quite a lot analyzed in the previous period, in the last 5 to 10 years, and I'm talking about the region of Southeast Europe, where several researchers show their characteristics. So their presence in the market, the public acceptance they have, and their potential and their influence on the various fields, where I would emphasize the environmental domain. In relation to SDI, we could also hear during the whole conference how much the topics that are actually interest of governments and Europe-wide initiatives are actually main goals of the NGOs too. So how to cross-connect these two segments that are currently having the gap between themselves. So these non-spatially, let's call it like that, enabled NGOs have actually good potential to be the regional SDI drivers. Knowing that the SDIs in the region are in expansion, and also that they have now really got into the system and really are acknowledged as the market enhancers, this is the right environment also to put the NGOs engaging. So how could this process be done? This is the current stage of the project, where we approach to analysis of the NGO potential and would propose the methods and means for the spatial data usage within the NGO. This will be done by indicating the approach and finally to give the driving force for the public involvement and cooperation in the sector. So it is to be considered and elaborated, as you see, 5 different stages through which it needed to pass in order to get the required value and accomplish the goals we set. Concretely, in working meetings with the Florozon, our partner that is the best practice case example, we identified several fields where the especially environmental organizations could benefit from, but also to give the value to. Yet it must be mentioned that these are not all the fields, but working with this and other NGOs, so for possible further initiatives, there will be a number of different approaches and benefits that could be valuable for NGOs, but also will return a value for the SDIs too. This approach or identification of the needs goes through 5 different stages, and the main thing is to through communication and working with the NGOs, focusing on the user-oriented approach to go to these concrete fields which will be the most benefit for the SDI and NGOs. So the process is summed up through the needs assessment, SDI fostering, and spatial technologies awareness in order to come to the actual knowledge transfer. So some concrete examples could be introducing low-tech GIS technologies and some awareness raising and education approach. Similar activities already exist, and it is not a new thing in that way, but this domain of non-spatial NGOs is still untouched in the region we are treating. Concretely, working with Florozon gave us the following structure of the domains that should be analyzed in one such organization that does not have priority activities with the spatial domain. So we have to go through their possible financial approach, also how do they cooperate with the authorities, but also how to cooperate with other stakeholders, their conditions and the capacity analysis, and of course data in broader and in more in-deep aspect. So finally, to come to some concrete proposal for the results we are expecting. Those are the benefits that are important for the NGOs itself, but also that could give back the result to and enhance the SDI development. So NGOs could be not just the user, but also the producer of information. Some key points for that implementation you can see on the screens, and some drawbacks that could be expected or we should be careful of is the possibility for public participation and possible data access, considering the situation in the region, also knowledge and technology transfer and possibilities for this area, and of course some budget constraints that is always an issue. Concretely, we identify Florozon to be the spatial data user. To some extent, it also could be a producer considering their projects and activities that is mostly based on volunteering geographic information assessment. So this is yet to be defined, but still carries the potential that shouldn't be underestimated. So also facing various issues, we are striving to make a most comprehensive approach and to get the most concrete results of these examples. Throughout the summer and expecting by the end of September, we are planning to sum up and to elaborate these results, and are planning to make a workshop that ought to take place in Zagreb in the end of September, where we would like to exchange experience with concrete, so best practice case example NGO, but also to invite other NGOs and to hear the wider voice and the possible contribution to the project, but also to the further possible initiatives that these projects could invite. So it will be, of course, elaborated through the report and open, hopefully, new initiatives. This approach is also something that could be identified within the European European level current activities. One of those is a joint program for development and implementation of communication strategy in the context of the regional cooperation between the civil sector and the Danube Basin and the Western Balkan countries. So this is a good example that should be followed and could actually give the results we are striving to. Hopefully you will join us also in September, where we could present you the more in detail results, and with a similar expert group in Zagreb on the SDI days. Thank you very much. I don't know if we have time for...
Yeah. Thank you, Luka, for presentation. Actually, we have 5, maybe 6 minutes. I expected we will have 20 minutes, a lot of time, but unfortunately no, but still we have some time for questions. So please, I'm sure there are some questions here from Hugo. Can we have a microphone, please?
Luri, I have a question for you. You showed us a beautiful tool to actually take the data from which is needed for the reporting to the inspired data specifications. That's a great tool, but we know that, for example, the Natura 2000 reporting area and now the Marine Strategy Framework Directive area, one talks about good environmental state, the other talks about good conservation status. There are Natura 2000 areas which are in the maritime domain. Reporting for those two areas overlaps. May well be possible, when we look into the different reports now, that the same data needs to be aggregated or slightly differently aggregated for those two reporting streams. Now, do you also have a tool which takes the data held in the Inspire formats and actually puts it into the XML structure of those two reporting streams? Because that, of course, would be an enormous administrative simplification.
Indeed, it is, to my mind, it is very important, first of all, that in the working groups which are working for the reporting obligations under nature directives, as well to be people which understand Inspire and which know that according to Inspire there are as well some obligations. Because, at least right now, because Inspire it's, let's say, at the beginning, but those reporting obligations has already 6, 10, 12 or even 20 years already of experience, the switch is not so easy. But to my mind, quite soon, so I expect that not in this year, in 2013, but I expect that the next one reporting, which will be in 2019, at least for the conservation status, and most sure, more faster will be for Natura 2000. These two directives will emerge. So we know, for example, that there is a regulation for the standard data form of Natura 2000. It is a decision. It is a Commission regulation. It was issued last year in 2011. At that time, we already had the protected areas simple application schema. We had some issues with the full application schema and with Natura 2000 application schemas. But for sure, these two will merge. Will merge, not right now. This will be as well, to my mind, it will need to change the way of thinking of the countries, and the two decisions. So the decision for the Inspire and the decision for the so for Annex 1 of Inspire and the decision for the Natura 2000 standard data form, they will need to be renewed. The problem, to my mind, it is that this more sure will be for all the sectors, not just for environment, not just for Natura 2000. So I see that always will be some discrepancies. But to my mind, the Inspire should take the lead. So Inspire should tell to all the other reporting services that everything should be done according to Inspire, and if necessary, the Inspire schemas to be changed in order to adapt the obligations. But this means that that regulation, in order to be approved, will need to be quite dynamic. It can't be so static as it is now. Right now, I assume that will not be changed very soon. The schemas for reporting under Inspire.
Thank you. I think we still have time, maybe for one more question. Yes, yeah, please.
Johannes Meyer from Austria. I would congratulate Hugo for the very beautiful presentation on how the things developed in Europe. We always have to keep these basic things in mind, and we as Austrians, we have lived long time in a world where the world ended 50 kilometers east of Vienna, the one in which we really moved. And we have been extremely happy and grateful that the European world became open again. So we are committed really to help that we really managed throughout all of Southeast Europe to really integrate Europe. It is also true what Hugo mentioned, that until now, let's say, the big support projects, they always tend to be thematic, because you can explain a minister, we need to sort out waste, we need to sort out water, we need to sort out air. And if it getting then to data and things like Inspire, it's a small technical thing for some agency. But in reality, as Hugo showed, it is more and more the core integrative thing. So I would encourage all of you who are in this room and who are developing such projects with their governments, that if you see a thematic project which touches the data area, insist that they put in at least one component or some activities to integrate this thematic issue into the overall data and reporting and IT world which you have to work on. I think this is the most realistic way of getting the Inspire thematics in all the practical support projects, because the big overarching projects typically, as IT and data and information people, we typically cannot force them through the other government priorities. So good luck to all of us.
Thank you, Johannes, for such a nice words for the end.
And thank you very much, for Luca, to your presentation. I presented yesterday in the plenary a few ideas on concrete projects which one could work on. I think that you would be a very good partner for a project regarding the citizen enforcement web.
That sounds like a good idea. I would like to discuss more on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Johannes, once again. Yes, I think we are at the end actually of the first part. Before I will leave you to lunch, I would just like to remind the presenters for the second part to check if their presentations are here, because we have to start at time, exactly at 2 o'clock. Also, please, if for invited participants, we still have a paperwork, so if we will use this lunch break, I will collect this paper from you. So please bring me here after this. At the end of this first part, I would also kindly ask you to thank again to all presenters of this first part.